One of the things that I've noticed is these dogs don't have a high attention span, and so I want to teach them how to focus. And this is, I call it a focus exercise. So to begin with, I've got a handful of the tricky trainers here. Now I'm using the salmon flavored trainers because he has some health issues or some food allergies. And so we want to make sure we're using something that's going to be not going to be detrimental. Now I have a handful of treats in this hand and one treat in this hand. I have my feet, my knees shoulder width apart, and I have the dog sitting right between me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my hands. I'm going to close this one so I keep the treat here, my fingertips. When I close it like this, now his instinct is to lick or nudge at where the smell is coming from, which is my hands. But I'm not going to give him the treat for that. And I'm not going to redirect him or correct him for doing it. I'm going to wait for him to voluntarily look at me in the face, and when he does, then I'm going to reward him. Up, focus. Focus. So what I'm doing is imagine that there's a line going from here to here. My first movement is to intersect that line. Then I go towards his mouth and I say focus the second it touches his lips. Focus. Focus. If you notice now he's looking at me more and more often. He's still going where the smell comes from, but that doesn't get him the treat. Now I'm not cueing him, I'm not coughing or making a sound, I'm talking for the camera right now so people at home understand what I'm doing. Focus. But I'm waiting for him to voluntarily give me his eyes. Focus. And then I'm assigning the command word of focus. After a while, when he's distracted, focus, I can say focus, and he should sit down and look up at me on command. Dogs can only think about one thing at a time, so if I'm freaking out about a horse over there, and then I say focus, I'm looking here, I'm forgetting about that over there. Now when you're doing this, focus. It's like two movement motion. The first one is a straight to go up here, 6 inches in front of your nose, and then the second movement is to go towards the dog. Now first I'm doing a 1 second, 1 second, but eventually I want to elongate the second move, which I'm going to do this time as soon as he looks away. 1 second, 1, 2 seconds. Eventually I'm going to get to the point where that second movement is 20 seconds in length. So I'm maintaining his focus here for a longer and longer period of time. Focus. Now make sure, a lot of people when they're doing it, they go all the way up here, or they go kind of a weird motion, and they kind of do a loop and then go to the, so it's boom, boom, just two movements. Now I would do this with about 10 to 15 treats in your hand and keep it about a 1 to 2 minute maximum training session. Ideally, we'd like the dog to sleep in between each training session. Dogs, especially puppies, will reorganize what they learn when they sleep. So, and also the longer you push, if you go too long, at first the dog's doing it really well, and after a while the dog starts getting distracted and not paying attention to you less, then you get frustrated, the dog feels you're frustrated, and then you end it on a bad note and the dog doesn't have a fond remembrance of it. So when you're doing this, if you start getting frustrated, make sure you stop when you get the next good one that you get. And then afterwards, focus. Now that one I probably shouldn't have said focus, but you want to give him a little bit of extra love at the end. So he's like, man, at this exercise we did, I got these salmon treats I've never had before. Then afterward, my dad played with me a little bit. I got some scratches behind my ear, on my butt, all my favorite spots. So the next time we do this exercise, the dog's like, I really want to do that. So this is how we teach our dog to focus.